microphone checker. Drae Slapz the record.
Cheer.
On Klyph Notes, about to give Klyph that press up.
Okay, here we go.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Klyph, I'm coming for you.
All right, B. Look, we jumping in right now.
Jump in. Wait, I want to share the link with you.
You can share the link while I'm recording, B.
Okay, I apologize, Klyph.
Hey, yo, first up, super excited for this. This is the debut of the Klyph Notes podcast that is sponsored by the Numberz Portland. So if y'all been messing with me with anything that I do with DJ Klyph Productions, you know that I've had the honor of working with the Numberz from jump, man, and it's so cool to have this be the next thing that I'm doing. So thank you so much to the Numberz Portland. If you're not familiar, it's the Numberz with a Z. Black media, you know what I mean? Liberated media here in Portland, Oregon, 96.7 FM. The Numberz with a Z.FM. Drae Slapz just shared with me a file. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You'll be hearing Slapz on Welcome to the Neighborhood in regular rotation. Yo, this one's a long time coming. We've been talking about doing this for a while, and we finally getting to it. I'm so grateful to have an opportunity to sit and chop it with this cat. And I've told people before, man, one of the reasons is I do this to a certain degree for selfish reasons because I'm really curious about the story. I know parts of the story, but I don't know all of the story, and so I want to be able to get more of the story. So, off top, how you doing, B?
I'm doing good, Klyph, man. I just want to say thank you for having me on. I appreciate your time and energy. You don't have to do this, not only for me, but for everybody that you bring onto this platform. So I want to start by saying thank you. It don't matter what happened, what's going on in life before this moment. I'm just grateful for this moment.
Absolutely. That's love, bro. That's love. It's funny because you and I had a conversation during the Portland Black Music Expo. And I feel like we've talked about this on more than one occasion, the fact that I remember the first time that I met you.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you have those situations where you meet people for the first time, and some interactions are more memorable than others. But I remember when I first met you, it was at a show. You handed me a CD.
Yeah.
And then I look back all of these years later to see all of the stuff that you've done, and it's pretty crazy. But let's go back to the beginning, B. I want to know the story. Like, so when I first met you, you were part of a production crew.
Wow,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? It was you. It was a two-man crew.
Yeah, it was a two-man crew.
I was gonna go bring the CD today so I could get you to tag it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could have that. But you had just come back to Portland after going to engineering school. Is that right?
No, so shout out my wife. She just knowing my journey and the things that I wanted to do in music. She would see me, night after night, anytime a big artist came in town, just like I handed you a CD.
Yeah.
I would take them same CDs and sit outside Rosen Theater, Crystal Ballroom, Hawthorne, and passing out CDs to artists. Then that, transferred to me doing flash drives, so I can also put my contact information and things on it, passing out flash drives to artists and their crew managers, homies, best friends, whoever could get that record to the artist or listen to it to themselves, and feel the vibe.
Yeah.
Just trying to create opportunities and make things happen in a city where you don't always have opportunities,
Wait, hold that thought. We're going to come right back.
All right.
We're going to put this on pause. The nice thing about this is I can edit this portion out. Hold up.
Yeah, sorry. I take one headphone off. I don't know. I feel like when I have both on, I can't hear myself breathe, and then I feel like claustrophobic, and then I feel like I start breathing hard.
That's because you're a DJ. That's all that is. That's all that is. So anyway, so we back. We chopping it up with the homie Drae Slapz. So you was talking about you be outside the Roseland. You transfer from CDs to flash drives.
Yeah, so I transferred from CDs to flash drives, just trying to create opportunities and get heard. Push my music out. And my wife now, but girlfriend at the time, seeing me do that, she had big dreams and aspirations as well herself in different avenues and arenas. And one of the times she got the opportunity to intern in New York. We went out there previously to meet some people and do informational meetings and things of that nature. And from those meetings that she was doing, she sent over, I believe, 5,000 emails, and it turned into a couple opportunities. And I'll let her speak on that, a little bit later when y'all, dig into her story. That's Zanel Mutefarone, if you want to check that out.
That's what's up, man.
Check her out. But from that opportunity, she ended up getting an internship in New York, and she convinced me to go to New York as well. So I went out to New York. I didn't have an internship at the time, just went out there with that same grind and hustle mentality, and I ended up landing an internship with Skylab Music Group, which was independent. It kind of gave me like the framework or it was my first shot of seeing doing this is possible, you know, without being on a major label.
Right.
And it was an engineer named Artie Sky who had done big records. Like, you walk into a studio and you see plaques on the wall from like huge artists and things that he engineered.
Yeah.
And he was in this back room mixing and mastering stuff on Logic.
Word.
And this is at the time where Pro Tools was huge and most people did Pro Tools.
Okay.
So, you know, he was mixing and mastering stuff on Logic, but whenever an artist came in that paid him for his rates and his fees, we were around the corner from Times Square. But he would go to Times Square to record them in a huge, massive studio and give them the vibe and energy,
Right.
bounce all their files out and bring it around the corner and mix their shit on Logic.
Okay.
Yeah, so around that time I was coming back from that internship.
Okay.
Long story short.
Okay. Nah, that's what's up. So then I would see you at events and then I don't remember how long after that first connect. But then I saw it was a while. It was a while after that. Then I saw Rare Vibe pop up.
Yeah.
So what was the genesis of Rare Vibe?
So long story short, you know that
Bro, we got time. You ain't got to make it short, baby.
Okay. That production team that I was a part of ended up not working out. We ended up going our separate ways.
Yeah.
And after that, that production team didn't work out. I ended up joining a local label. Or creating a label with someone, but we used some of their intellectual property and their naming and stuff like that because it was just so fire, you know.
Yeah.
The logo was fire. Shout out to Caso De Niro in the building. And
Literally in the building.
Literally. And, you know, we were pushing. We had a great core of artists. We had great things going. But also at the same time, that ended up not working out.
Yeah.
And so after those two ventures didn't end up working out and trying to work with other people and trying to collaborate and just not understanding, you know, why it wasn't working, I decided that I wanted to go out on my own and try my own situation. So if anything happens, if push comes to shove, you know, people come and go in life, I had something that was mine that I could continue to push and I wouldn't lose traction on because of differences of opinion or circumstances.
No doubt.
So yeah, that's where Rare Vibe came from.
So Drae, you from Portland?
I'm from Portland, born and raised. Yeah.
So it's had to have been interesting for you to hold on for a sec. We're gonna pause one more time.
Yes, sir.
Take 3. So from Portland, got your start here. As you have now kind of gotten to where you are, and we're gonna go back into it a little bit more. But I'm just curious as to your view, your vision, your view of the Portland scene, the Portland music scene right now.
From what perspective? Like, from what standpoint?
From, you know, one of the things that I noticed when I first moved here, because I'm not originally from Portland, was just the sheer amount of talent that is in the city.
Yeah.
Obviously, my lane is hip hop, but not just in hip hop.
Right.
You know, there's just so much. There's an immense amount of talent here.
Yeah, for sure.
And there have been a couple of opportunities where people have gotten I shouldn't say it. There's actually been many opportunities that people gotten recognition outside of Portland, even internationally. If people go back and listen to some episodes of the podcast, you get to hear about that. But one of the things that it always felt like Portland was kind of always on the verge. And I would talk to people and they'd be like, yo, we about to put Portland on the map, this, that, and the third. Being from Portland, but also being someone who has literally traveled out like all over the world.
Yeah.
When you look at the Portland music scene, maybe but you've been in New York. You've been in some places where there is like a lot of historic culture,
right?
Musical culture. Like, what is your view of Portland?
So I agree with you from a talent standpoint. I feel like the artists, but not just the artists, but creators here that we have, you know, in this like super creative like melting pot or incubator, is immense. I feel like we have the same amount, if not more, talent in a lot of areas, honestly, whether it's people that was born here and just raised and came up here, or also transplants that came throughout their journey in life and, you know, just adding to the scene and adding their vibe to the energy. I feel like from a talent standpoint, it's there. And I feel like it's always been there, you know. Things change generationally and you have different styles and different energy, but I feel like from as far as I've been a part of the scene and as I look back beyond me or before me, the talent has always been there. I feel like the issue with the scene is that, one, we don't have the the level of resources or people with resources, whether it be labels, whether it be creators that have budget, whether it be people like we have venture capitalists here, but music isn't a great venture capital, like situation to put yourself in. You can't maximize ROI. It's so finicky, and it's so fickle. It's based on literally human engagement and somebody just catching on and people liking you or not, know? So you can't really live in that world because you can't really give them the kind of returns that they need in order to take a chance on you. So I just feel like we're a talent, or we're a market that's rich in talent but low in resources.
Yeah.
And low in outlets. And whether it's, the chitlin circuit in the South, whether it's being in a major market that just has these level of celebrity or these level of people that can extend your reach coming through literally day by day.
Yeah.
We don't have those kind of situations. So we're in a situation where we have artists who in another market might be making $10,000, $15,000 a show, doing gigs for $500 to $1,000 a show, if that, you know what I'm saying, kind of vibe. Or we're in a market where, our clubs aren't open till 4 a.m. We don't have that culture where venues stay open. People come out at midnight so they can stay out until 4. People are willing to spend $40 to $60 on a ticket to an event. The level of production that those events come with, we don't have that level of production because we don't have that level of revenue generated from said event to cover that cost. Yeah. So we're just in a situation where, as opposed to other markets, we don't have the outlets that they do, whether it's a strip club scene, a chitlin circuit, a internal, city limit kind of vibe that will garner or let artists flourish. That's why a lot of our artists end up leaving.
And the reason that I wanted to touch on that was because as I think of your story from my perspective, I wanted to kind of hear that, because then when we go from me learning about Rare Vibe,
right,
and then where you are now, I feel like that perspective is huge in terms of being a part of the story, right?
Oh, for sure.
So I hear about Rare Vibe, and then there are a number of artists in the city who I see connected, a number of MCs that I see connected to Rare Vibe, and I was like, okay, like cats who could it was a really cool thing. You know what I mean? So as that happened, how did people get connected to Rare Vibe? Like, did you select particular MCs, particular artists? Like, how did that happen?
I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it. It was all off of connection, honestly, and just being around us, being around the right people. Me and Lang actually went to school together. Okay. And so I ended up connecting with Lang because he knew that I engineered, he knew I produced, and he had been writing a mixtape for a long time and didn't have anywhere to record it. So he came to me to record his mixtape called Sour Nothings, and he would come into the booth, and I had never witnessed like this level before, where he would come in, he would rap the whole song all the way through, flawless, one take dubs, libs, doing additional layers, just like he had it all figured out of how he wanted to do it, the vocal inflections. Like it wasn't like a dry run and then let me go over the top and add emphasis. He just had it down. Yeah. And ever since then, I was rocking with him. That was way prior to Rare Vibe, way prior to Fresh Tribe. And so that's how Lang ended up coming to the fold. Deuce ended up being a part of Rare Vibe as well. And Deuce brought Nick B to the fold of Rare Vibe. And the same thing with Samuel the First. Samuel the First in Brookfield, Deuce did the I think they did the Inner City Blues record. Okay. Yeah, they did the Inner City Blues record, and that's when Sam started coming around the vibe and stuff like that. And initially, I had my hands full with Lang and Nick, but after Lang and Nick ended up taking some time to work on focus on some personal things, Sam ended up coming more into the fold, and we ended up working together.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and Mike Capes has always been around. Mike Capes is affiliated with Rare Vibe, but he's not like on Rare Vibe. He's pushing, his Facade Free, label and situation. And yeah, he's just a part of the vibe, but he's always been around for sure.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. And fun fact, Mike Capes gave me my name, by the way.
Drae Slapz?
Mike Capes gave me Drae Slapz.
So how'd that come about?
So me and Mike have known each other since high school or before high school. And we actually will record, or I would be making beats at University Park Community Center, called Charles Jordan Community Center now. Yeah. And so Mike would pull up, And I wanted to go by Hoofany Beats. I was so serious about it. I knew, like, I was like, everybody's making these beats with the big drums, ironically, because my drums is like my thing. But everybody's making these beats with big drums and no real sounds. I wanted to create symphonies and like bring in orchestral instruments and really like fill out the space and create scores almost.
Yeah.
But hip hop and, you know, drums over it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I can't be symphony beats. That's trash. I want to be hoofany beats, you know, because I'm going to bring the slap in it. And I was really, my logo was an owl over piano keys. Like my tag was an owl at the time.
Yeah.
And I was pushing it. And Mike was like, bruh, I'm not calling you hoofany, bruh. Because I also had to change it. Because if you look at the way symphony is spelled, it looked like hood phony. So I had to change the O to an A.
Okay.
But then it looked like hood fanny. But I just said hoofany. You know what I'm saying? If you say it fast, it's hoofany. He was like, nah, bruh. Your name is Drae and your beats be slapping. So you Drae Slapz. And he just kept applying pressure, calling me that. And I finally, like, years after that, just adopted it and took it on.
That's so crazy. That's why y'all listen to Klyph Notes, man. You get all of the inside information. So that, I mean, I think that's dope to know that their relationship goes back as far as it does.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's interesting for you to talk about sort of your style of production, because I feel like that first CD that you gave me, that's really what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just I'm an old head, bro. I'm from a certain geographical area. I came up, you know, with a under a certain style of hip hop, and I love that boom bap sound. I mean, that's just what I resonate with. And when you gave me that CD, I was like, yo, this is on some different stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's interesting to hear. Okay, that's a part of the reason why. That's where your head was at
for sure.
So then, you know, I'm hearing these records from these cats, from Nick, from Samuel, from Brookfield, and you know, you hear the tag. You hear the slaps tag on there, and so really, in my mind, in my brain, you were the producer, and then I quickly understood, and I guess I knew that you were also a nice engineer.
Okay, good
so that's what I knew you as, right?
Yeah.
Then the ad libs, you know, we hear Drae on the ad libs, right? And then somewhere, and then I guess I would see you DJ for these cats on sets. Right? So now I know who Drae is, right?
Yeah.
Drae is the engineer, producer, DJ.
Facts.
Ad lib man.
Facts. Yeah.
And then I get the email. I think it was the email of Drae on the microphone.
Yeah.
Bruh, facts. Like that caught me. I was like, okay, this is something different. This is something. So how did you go from creating music for others to creating music for yourself?
So I think, like, if I really go back and look at just my life and who I am and the things that I enjoy, I feel like I've always wanted to be an artist, or I've just always enjoyed that part of the art form. Even back when I was a baby, my mom used to tell me that I would never go anywhere without my Michael Jackson VHS. So wherever we went, if I didn't have it with me, it was a problem. And then when we got there, we had to put it in, and I had to sit in front of the TV and watch this Michael Jackson VHS. Like, that was the only way for me to be good. And I think that's just always carried over. I've always had, like, a love of music, a love for art, and just, like, putting words together, right? But I never kind of took that route. Even I remember in middle school, I used to I had a dual cassette, and I would wait for Jammin' 95.5 to come on. And whenever a song I liked, it was heavy Ja Rule and Ashanti, heavy. You know, I would record, you know what I'm saying, on my tapes, and I would take my tapes to school in my Walkman, and I would sell them too. You know what I'm saying? I would get these tapes off,
Okay.
So I've just always loved music and the art, and I've always wanted to be an artist, but my inception into creating music was through Farnell Newton at University Park Community Center.
Okay.
So he taught me what making beats was. I downloaded the demo version of Fruity Loops, started making beats. And that's when I met Mike. I started selling beats to artists, giving beats to artists. Mike was one of the first artists to actually rap on one of my beats as well. We did a record called SB Kicks. Y'all go look it up. Mike is going to hate that. Turf Bangers, SB Kicks. Early Drae Slapz. You'll hear the hoofany owl on that. But yeah, I was producing, and then I wanted my beats to sound better, so I started engineering. And so as my beats are sounding better, I'm selling beats. And before I graduated high school, I just had this dream of making it as a big producer. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But it didn't end up going that way. So I ended up going to Portland State University, dual majoring in marketing and advertising management. And then I also have 5 certificates in digital marketing strategies. And as I'm there, though, other artists started coming out, and I joined a fraternity. I crossed the burning sands of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the oldest, coldest, boldest fraternity there is.
Okay.
You feel me? 1906, you know the vibe. And when I joined my frat, a lot of my brothers thought they could rap. You know what I'm saying? They were artists, and a lot of them were dope. So that was my inception of recording artists and actually getting into recording and doing vocal production. So I did that for a while. That transpired into different things and different opportunities. And I also became the DJ for them because, I'm the music guy.
Right.
I think they just really didn't want to pay nobody to DJ the parties. And it was like, yo, you know music, your name is Drae Slapz. So, DJ the parties, bruh.
Right.
And that was my inception into becoming a DJ, actually. So I'm doing all of these things. That turned into me having a production team. That turned into me joining a label, independent label from Portland. That turned into me starting Rare Vibe. And I was really heavily pushing the artists on Rare Vibe and also doing all the back-end label stuff as well. So I was producing their records. I was recording them, mixing and mastering the records, getting the records out to people like you know what I'm saying, the OG1, and then DJs outside of the area. Also getting it to the people at labels that I've met, whether it be through internships or just getting marketing lists and stuff like that and doing the push that way. Uploading their records to DSPs, uploading their records to SoundCloud because that was big at the time, and DJing for them, for the live shows and events, helping them get shows and stuff like that. And so I'm doing all of these work for the artists, really believing in the brand and what we had going on. And as I alluded to a little bit earlier, the artists had a couple personal things come up, and they decided, they needed to take some time or they were done for a while. And during this time, I was also engaged in preparing for my wedding. And when that took place and then a situation happened with a project me and Mike had released as well, I found myself in a situation where I still felt like music was it. And though I was doing things in corporate America as well, I always wanted to transition into music full time. And a big part of that revenue was through the live shows and the things that we were doing, with the artists on the brand. And so when they decided they weren't making any music, they weren't performing, they were taking a hiatus, I realized how much of my growth and development was tied to other people. And, one day I just decided if I'm doing all of this stuff for them, let me try my hand at this and see what it would be like or what it would look like if I did it for myself.
Right.
How far we could take it, how far I could push it.
Right.
And, in the sessions, whether I would be recording them, I'm giving people, like most people do in the studio, ideas and suggestions or talking through ad-lib placement or, just freestyling and having fun and stuff as they were writing to beats and stuff like that. And so I've always kind of played around with it, but I didn't take it serious.
Right.
And I finally decided, let's just do it.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So which has gone from kind of putting ideas together. And I appreciate that you considered me to send some early stuff to kind of get my feedback on.
Yeah, facts.
I mean that means a lot, bro.
You're a tastemaker. What do you mean?
Come on, bro.
You're a tastemaker, and I knew like the energy that I was coming with was different than the things that you would typically gravitate to or appreciate, in your own realm.
Right.
But that's why I wanted to reach out to you because I said like from a lyrical perspective, I knew that you would being who you are, you would listen to the whole song, but you were really keen on what I was saying. Yeah. And that's what I wanted your feedback on, and that's what you gave me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, bro. Because I think that and I try to hold myself to this idea that, when we have platforms, it's our responsibility to use those platforms to the best of our abilities. And I think that was a conversation that we had. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I appreciate you just reaching out, man. You know what I'm saying? That's love. So we're recording this in 2021, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the album, but then you go ahead and release a joint today.
I had to.
Today.
I said I'm on Klyph Notes, and it's that energy. I had to give you that energy that you need,
bruh. So you release this joint called Mindset today, and it's just like a little quick hitter that you hit us with,
something
bro.
light.
And but it says a lot. Like the song says a lot in terms of where you are. And as I listened to it, I thought about the conversation that we had, and during the Black Music Expo.
Yeah.
Just in terms of your mindset, and I think you've kind of given us the backstory of what's really led to that place that you are right now as a creative. Do you feel comfortable in that space yet?
In which space?
Of being the I don't know, man, for lack of a better term, being the front man, of being Drae Slapz, not Drae Slapz, the DJ or the producer or the engineer or the idea man or the merch guy or the everything else that we've seen you do.
Yeah.
But being this is what I'm on.
I feel comfortable with my voice now. Like I feel way better vocally. I feel way better about how my records are coming out.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I think the next phase of that I'm trying to figure out is on stage. Because I realize, though I'm somebody that brings a lot of energy and I come in front of the booth a lot, there's still 97% of the set that I'm behind a table. Right. And I've realized too, though with as much confidence and charisma and things like that I project, and show the audience and just people around, a lot of the time when I'm back there, I'm looking at the computer or doing things or changing knobs and stuff like that. So in the shows that I've had, I do go back and forth. Like I DJ for myself still. So I'll go back and forth between being behind the table and in front. But just that time of being in the front and looking people in their eyes and resonating on that and just figuring out how I want to work the stage as the front man, that's something that I'm still trying to come into my own on. But everything outside of that, I'm heavily settled.
That's what's up.
I feel good.
That's what's up, V. Your music is available. I had to pull up the Bandcamp page. Your music is available on Bandcamp. In June, you released the album NRG.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I mean, that's the project you sent me.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
What you think? This is what I'm on right now.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's 13 joints.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guests on here. I mean, I see a couple familiar names, but this is truly your project, which I think is important to point out, right? Because this is when you're saying, okay, I'm Drae the MC, I'm Drae the songwriter, and it's me. I got people in my collective, in my crew, in my family that I'm inviting to be on this journey with me. But no, this is me putting it out there.
Yeah.
Now, almost 6 months after releasing it, looking back on that album, how does it feel?
It's funny. Throughout this whole journey as being a frontman or an artist, I'm blessed and I feel good about being a producer first, and then engineering artist, and then being a DJ, and then running a Rare Vibe from the art or from the label side of things or back end side of things, because I find myself falling into pockets that I would need to talk artists out of. So whether dropping something and then not liking the initial reaction, and I would tell them, it's not about the initial reaction, it's about the push beyond that. That first initial little love that lasts a day or two, it don't matter. But I find myself looking for that instant gratification. I find myself when I send the records out, especially from a marketing platform, so using Dropbox transfer to send it to DJs, seeing who downloaded the records and who didn't.
Come on, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I find myself looking at these certain things or, feeling a kind of way about not getting a response or not getting on this or not getting on that. And on the back end, I would just reach out or follow up. But then as the artist, you start feeling that sensitivity, and it's oh, they don't rock with me, so maybe I shouldn't, if I was Drake, if I was, Kendrick, if I was whoever artist that they revere or somebody that they felt had some level of whatever that I wouldn't even have to ask. They would go download it off iTunes. You know what I'm saying? They would pay $1.29 for the record. They would do whatever. And I'm going and doing all this above and beyond and not seeing the results that I feel like I should see. Right. So it was a bit of that, but looking back on it and just being where I'm at now, I realize it's not about that. And again, that's why I love my records in this project, because these records on this project specifically, and a lot of the stuff that I write, is messages to myself, like listening to a record like Keep Going, listening to a record, No Turning Back, listening to myself, Be Patient. Like, remember talking to my mama, son, be patient. Been around for a minute. I know they haven't heard this sound in a minute. It's going to take time to resonate. It's going to take time to connect. And I'm here for a bigger purpose. So I don't want the instant microwave situation. Like, of course, we all want the TikTok hit, but we here for longevity more so than anything else. So, yeah, it's been taking a lot, but it's cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, bro. Well, and that leads to the conversation that we had, and we talked about that amongst other things, being in the city of Portland, being from the city of Portland, and specifically that how in your circle and the way in your moves, because, and we should also point out, like we talked about all the work that you've done for other people, and that this, now we have an opportunity to celebrate your work as an artist, as a writer, as a songwriter, as an MC. But like we've seen you doing work as a DJ.
Facts.
Like not only DJing for artists, but like on the corporate scene. Like Facts. We see you out there putting in work, and you built a name for yourself as a DJ. And so and then as we listen to you talk about your mindset,
the
available
vibe
right now on Bandcamp, your mindset moving through building Rare Vibe, the way that you moved merch, the box that I got, what I'm saying, like the things that you've done are so thoughtful, and you talked about you have a degree in marketing, so it makes sense. So you've obviously put forth. You have something to show for who you are and what you can do as an artist. But one of the things that we talked about was how even in doing that, you get to this place where it's like, but people aren't reaching out to ask me to be on sets. People aren't reaching out to ask me for guest verses and these things, and how that's been your experience thus far. Yeah. And we had a chance to sort of talk about what that looks like and the impact and influence that it has on how we move in what we're doing. That can sometimes be discouraging, can be frustrating, can be, it can create a sense of anger. Yeah. Where are you right now when we think about how that is, or what have been your experiences? I don't want to just speak for you.
Yeah, I definitely went through the 5 stages or whatever. Like I definitely went through the motions, and the emotions. I was definitely frustrated, upset, confused, dumbfounded, like trying to figure out what's going on, and at times, even if you display the most confidence in the world, like when you're doing things and you're not doing things over and over again in the same way, you're reiterating and recalibrating and trying to figure things out, and you're still not getting the results that you desire, you start to question yourself to a degree, like, damn, am I not hot? Like, was this not what I thought it was,
Right. Right.
And funny enough, like when I start thinking about things like that, a moment that I go back to is when Lil Yachty first dropped Cold Like Minnesota. And that song dropped, and we thought that it was the most horrible thing ever. Like, the voice, the way it was floating, like, it just didn't make sense. Yeah. And it took off. And I knew people that really loved the record. And just like any record that, once the machine gets a hold of it and start pushing it, you start to hear the catchy elements and you start to like it to a degree. But before that initial result, it made me realize that it's not about reaching everybody. It's about reaching the right people. And your music, the things that you do, if you're doing it for the right reasons or whatever your intentions are, is going to reach the people that it's meant to reach, right? Yeah. It's just about how much you push and how much, time, energy, and resource you have to put against it to reach a wider audience to find more of those people. Right. But your audience is out there. That's what made me stop calling people's music trash in general. Like, people would be like, yo, I want to record. That's one of the reasons why I stopped recording artists, honestly. Like, okay. People would come to the studio and they will be recording, they will be off beat. Like, that was one of the things about the Lil Yachty song. People feel like it's off beat, but in his mind, I watched one of his boat shows, like his YouTube daily series recently, and he was in the studio recording. And he was like, I can only record with certain people because I record off beat, but it's on beat. right? Like it's off beat, but based on my cadence, it's on beat. And then some engineers try to drag him back on, and then it sounds worse. It sounds
Gotcha.
bad.
Yeah.
But it works for him the way he records and what he does. And
Yeah.
so I would be in a studio and I'm recording people and it's off beat or whatever's going on or it's not to my taste.
Yeah.
And they will say, yo, bro, how was that? How was that take? You know, they did the take and they're like, how was that take?
Right.
And I'm like, that ain't it.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And they would do it again the same way,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it was to the point where I was like, I can't lie to artists for the bag. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not one of those engineers that sit back and push buttons and throw the effects on and then we good to go. Like, I'm going to tell you how I truly feel.
Right.
So I couldn't do that anymore. But
Right.
yeah, it just puts you in that bag and in that position where it's like, does this work? Who does it resonate with? You start to question yourself and question your abilities. And, you know, that's how I felt at different times. But now I feel good. Like, I feel good about where I'm at. I definitely want to do more shows. I definitely want to tour. Like, there's a lot of things that I want to do overall. But as far as, like, the reception of what I've done and where I'm at, there's people that really genuinely love my music or really genuinely love my visuals and things like that. And that feels crazy.
Yeah.
And I had to come to a point where I wasn't disregarding the few because I wasn't capturing the many.
Yeah. Big ups to you, bro. So let me say this to you, and that's one of the reasons I so appreciated the conversation that we had, because that was and continues to be a challenging thing for me, right? Where those people who I thought would really appreciate what I have to, not from an artistic standpoint, but from a service standpoint,
right?
Those are the people who I learned didn't really appreciate it, you know? And so for you at this early stage of this part of your journey, to find that, to identify that, and to recognize that, okay, maybe my audience isn't who I thought it was going to be.
Right.
This is my audience.
Yeah.
And so, you know, let me continue to make art that speaks to me that they will appreciate. So big ups to you for finding that at this stage. I think that's huge, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's crazy because everything is in, like, retrospect. Like, to me, it feels like forever. I started producing at 15. I'm 30.
Yeah.
You know, so even though I've been releasing music just the past, like, 3 to 5 years, I believe, with the Panorama, I can't remember time right now. But, you know, it's been a short amount of time releasing music as an artist, but I feel like my musical journey has been so long.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's just the circumstances and the people that I've been able to be around inside and outside of music that has helped shape some of those perspectives.
No doubt. You are you mentioned something about, you know, you're talking about watching Yachty and his visuals situation. That's one of the other things that you've done. And I have to admit, man, I didn't tap in obviously when you were doing it earlier, but I saw you just post on Instagram a situation asking, should you know, is this something that you should bring back, where you was on the bike riding around showing off the kick show. What's up with that, right?
All right, so like I said, like, I also work in corporate America as well. So my journey with music and entrepreneurship has always been a dual journey between me trying to make a living, you know, and really set his footprint as an entrepreneur and creator, while also managing and growing in the corporate ladder as well, and that side of the world, you know. So that journey took me to a place where I was also working for Nike. And at Nike, the campus is so huge. Excuse me. The campus is so huge that you have to take bikes sometimes between buildings to get to meetings.
Yeah.
And so on these bikes, you know, I have a situation where I would just show my drip and my outfit and what's going on, or talk about whatever. You know, I just call them like Nike bike talks. But I got to figure out what I want to change the vibe to, you know, when we back on campus and all of that. But yeah, that was just a situation where I did it once to be funny, and people really loved it and seemed to resonate with them, and it was just something I would do on my stories. But now with Reels as a piece of Instagram's like ecosystem, and with TikTok, I might do it and keep it in a more permanent space.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Again, just other ways that I see you utilizing, tapping into to what's available, and bro, just really making it a thing, which I feel like more of us can pay attention to and take advantage of. One of the things that you shared with me, bro, is people kind of I don't really understand it, but people kind of feel in some way about the moves that you've been able to make,
Yeah.
and how is everything that's shown, is it real? Now, to be fair, that is a thing,
Yeah.
right? Where people, everything that they show is not real,
Yeah.
but people have questioned what they've seen from you, and like, speak on that a little bit, bro.
Yo, yeah, it was mad interesting. So, as you said, I produce, I engineer, I DJ. I'm an artist now as well, and I do digital marketing strategy, or I do digital marketing in general. So, with all of these avenues and arenas, I just thought that I was diversifying my portfolio and, the different areas of business, like diversifying my revenue streams. And I just happen to be good at all of these areas.
Yeah.
But as I talk to people within a community that do like a singular or one or two things, people that I rock with too, it came to my attention that the fact that my abilities are so widespread is actually working against me in some ways. So when it comes to DJs and my persona, like I'm a hype man for Mike and for artists that I DJ for. But like you said, I also DJ weddings, I DJ corporate events, I DJ bar mitzvahs, and I'm hyping up the crowd and the energy and the people. So as an artist, it automatically just transpired into me doing it for myself as well.
Yeah.
And some people let me know, like the DJ's job is to hype up the artist. Now with me being an artist, it's a bit off-putting to some DJs that I hype myself and call myself the best.
Right.
I shouldn't call myself the best. Somebody else should call me the best. And because of that, that has, given some or pushed some people away from booking me, on their events or asking me to come out to do whatever from a DJ perspective.
Right.
And I was like, okay, whatever. We had a conversation there. From a producer standpoint, producers don't send me beats because they see me as a producer. Mm-hmm. There's a couple producers that really rock with me and want to do stuff. Right now I'm just shaping my own sound, so I'm producing all of my own stuff primarily.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of producers that wouldn't send me records, and I'd be like, yo, why haven't you reached out about X, Y, and Z? And they're like, you produce. And I was like, but I release music too. And they're like, but you produce. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I'm a producer, even if they like the music, they're not going to try to send me stuff because they feel like that's what I do.
Right.
And the same thing with artists. Artists don't want to really reach out. Some artists don't want to reach out to me to get beats because they see me as competition as an artist, but they don't want to put me on their records because they don't necessarily see me as an artist. They see me as a producer.
Right.
So yeah, it was just a weird situation where everything was like a double-edged sword, but it was causing just a stalemate.
Yeah.
There was no further motion beyond the thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to give you, I want to show gratitude to you for, that came out of that conversation for me, as you were sharing that, I was trying to wrap my mind around why, one of the reasons that would be the case. And I think I even said it to you. Sometimes I wonder if when people have access to you,
Yeah.
then they feel like, well, if I have access to you, then you can't be everything that you say you are, or that I think, or that I see, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
And that spun off of the additional piece that came off of that, which was people see me as an artist now. Like, primarily on social media, I'm not really posting too much of my DJ stuff, especially since it's like corporate events and weddings. It's not things that I'm trying to get people to come out to.
Right.
So I'll post like today's office and I'll show where I'm DJing, but I'm not asking people to come to events and stuff like that.
Right.
Until I bring the kickback back.
Yeah.
But people so primarily saw me as an artist, and then they would see the visuals that I would release and the places that I'm releasing visuals from, and the things that they were just seeing. They couldn't believe that it was me. And if it was me, there must be some underlying reason beyond I'm good at what I'm doing, or beyond I'm using my own funds. Like, if I'm using my own money, people told me that I must come from money, essentially.
Right.
And that's ridiculous. Like I said, this is like me, Mike, you know what I'm saying? Learning, me and Mike in University Park Community Center. We wasn't at University Park Community Center because we had bread.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we was there, you know what I'm saying, in the computer lab with everybody else, you know what I'm saying, just rocking it out, trying to figure it out. Like, yeah, and I grew up, like, the way that I grew up, single mother, 3 kids. She had to do amazing things just to like, I don't want to make it seem like I had the hardest childhood in the world. You know, like my mom sacrificed immensely. One of the things that, you know, I still deal with to this day is trying to figure out how to cope with the fact that my mother had a full ride to Grambling State, but got pregnant with me and decided to keep me and forego her full ride. You know what I'm saying? And just for me to be living the life that I'm living now is her wildest dream, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, just to hear people say, like, you must have come from money, and to know, like, the sacrifices my family made, you know, from me just even being here to making sure that me, my brother, and my sister had $100 on our birthday, and we had Christmas gifts and, you know, things like that. Like, it was crazy to me. But, you know, then I had to look at it from the other lens and be like, that's super dope for the fact that I'm doing and showing, for the things that, for you to see me in the light to think I must come from money means that where I'm at is just crazy in life. So I had to switch it up. But yeah, that, you saying that to me came from that conversation. Yeah.
Well, and I hope that at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter. And that's one of the, it used to be difficult for me, and it's not anymore. I think I've grown and matured, hopefully, through this. I just felt like, man, why can't we just celebrate one another?
Right.
Why do we always have to have this crabs in the barrel mentality? And mind you, that's not something that, I understand that that's not something that's unique to Portland, right? Because I learned that term and that idea and that mindset when I was doing music when I lived in New Orleans. So, but one of the things that I do see, unfortunately, is that it is something that's very, very much a part of us.
Yeah.
Of our people, of Black folk.
Yeah.
You know, where I feel like we don't do a good enough job just celebrating someone else's success.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with people who feel like sometimes that may come from, oh, well, if this person is doing it, then they're taking my opportunity away from me.
Yeah, 100%. I used to think that it was greed.
Yeah.
I used to think that it was envy-based, but I realized it's fear.
Yeah.
You know, it's the fear of not living up to the expectations or standards that you have for yourself or that your family has for you, not being able to provide the way that you want, you want to, just being fearful of everything that you've desired or that you want for yourself or that you feel like you can accomplish not coming to fruition. And so because of that fear, you know, we then go into areas of maybe it's greed, maybe it's envy, maybe it's frustration. And it's simply the fact of the matter of, if I feel like in this market or in this area, if I feel like, even if I feel like I'm not as good as you or if I'm not better than you, but I feel like it's an opportunity that I should have had, then what gives you the entitlement over me? Why would you be picked for that and not me? You know, and this, especially in a market like ours, opportunities are far and few between. So, it's definitely a situation where I feel like people, and even in like a LA or a New York, like you were saying, it isn't just a Portland thing or a small market thing. It's a bigger market, but you got to think bigger ocean means more fish. You know, they don't all got to be big fish, but it's more fish. So just because it's more opportunities don't mean that the volume, you know, of people chasing those opportunities aren't more as well. So it's just a situation where I've come to understand that people they don't understand why not them, you know, and they feel like one less opportunity is one step further back from them getting to where they want to be.
You mentioned the Kickback, which was an event that you started. That was it was different, bruh. It was different. It was different visually. It was different. I don't know if people are hearing you for the first time, then they obviously they're not going to know, right? People are listening to this podcast don't really know Drae Slapz yet. People who know you know that the persona is real. You know what I mean? Like the energy is real, the vibe is real, and I feel like the Kickback was that in a way that we could all touch and feel and be a part of. Your idea for doing like a regular event like the Kickback, like where did that come from?
So it's two parts. So the first part, talking about like the marketing brain, right? And the things that we're talking about from that perspective and energy. By the way, the project is NRG, but if you say it fast, it's energy. You feel me? That's why it's spelled like that.
And hold up, pause, because I got to give a shout out to. I don't have to, but I choose to give a shout out to. Shoot, I was trying to see if I could stem my parking.
I know you good.
I got to give. I listen to a lot of sports podcasts.
Oh my, Locked On Blazers.
Yeah. And so the host of Locked On shouts you out because you did the theme for that joint.
Yeah.
And so not only does he say shout out to Drae Slapz and to follow Drae Slapz, but he also says the project Energy is out.
That's fire.
So anyway, I just had
love.
to got to show
Appreciate
love.
You for real, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, at any rate.
Okay, so at any rate, it kind of goes the inception of the kickback kind of goes back to me deciding to be an artist, right? And like you said, all of my perspective and background on giving the CDs and the flash drives out at concerts and stuff like that, trying to basically find a way to maximize my footprint on the market and get to where I want to be, which is a full-time artist and creator and entrepreneur. I needed to find another way to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And after everything happened, like I said, with the Artists on Rare Vibe and me and the project that me and Mike did and somebody that we were trying to work through with that, I'm just having a lot of dreams and a lot of big, like, what if moments. Mm-hmm. And then kind of things coming crashing down. I went into like a depression and I went into a really dark area because I kind of have this deadline of a wedding coming up, and I have to provide for this wedding. And then, but at the same time, I really want to just be doing music. Like, I'm good, with project management, studio management, and the things that I do in corporate, but I would really just rather do music.
Yeah.
So I went into like a really dark space, and one of my ways out of that, shout out to DJ OG1, that's somebody that I talked to during this time period and bounced some things off of, was what is my idea of success? Like, because I would find myself, opening up for Bone Thugs and Harmony at Crystal Ballroom, and we tear it down. Me and Mike, and Deuce tear it down so crazy that their openers, Mo Thugs, then their DJ wasn't there. So they're like, yo, bro, can you DJ for us?
Yeah.
So then I DJ for them, but I'm still trying to bring my energy and back them up and hype up the crowd. But I'm not an artist that I'm familiar with, but still figuring it out and really like giving them an energy. So them asking me, yo, we got a show in Seattle. Can you come up to Seattle and DJ for us up there?
Yeah.
Go up to Seattle, DJ for them, and I'm getting these glimpses of success, so doing things like that. The getting music licensing opportunities, just different things that was happening, but it never was enough. I could never find myself truly enjoying these moments, right?
Yeah.
It was always, that was cool, but I'm not selling out Crystal myself.
Right.
That was cool, but I'm not on my own tour.
Right.
It was always that was cool, but, and I was always minimizing my successes or my accolades or accomplishments. So I had to ask myself, like, yo, Slapz, like, what does success look like for you? What would be successful? And at the time, it was, if I could make $4,000 a month off of music alone, that would be success. That would be that's a good starting point. That's a tangible goal.
Yeah.
So in our market, like I said, there's some artists that could be making $10,000 a show, right? But here, that's not really the case. So my thing was through the merch play. Mm-hmm. So, if you have 100 people, just 100 fans in the whole world, right? Mm-hmm. Of however many billions of people there are, if you get 100 people to spend $40 a month on your product, that's $4,000 a month. Yeah. You sell a hoodie for $40, or you sell a T-shirt and a ticket to a show for $15, that's $40.
Yeah.
But then I was talking to OG1 about it, and he was like, yo, you got to think about it, Slapz. Every month, people ain't going to be able to recurringly spend that money. Right. Somebody might get into a car accident. They got kids, something might happen to where that money needs to go another place. And I was like, you right. So I started thinking about the power of tenths, which is 10% of your consumer base will convert. So if I have 1,000 true fans, which is people that are willing, in my regard, to spend $40 a month on a product or multiple products, like bundle up to $40 a month, I'll make that $4,000 a month. So that's where the merch part came into it. And then I was like, well, I don't want to just be selling merch. Like, I want to offer an experience as well. And that's when the kickback came up. And the idea with the kickback was I wanted to create a party and a vibe. Like, there's amazing parties, there's amazing live shows There was Mic Check, you feel me? There's the Thesis. There's different events that I'm not going to go, into detail on everything, but there's events that happens throughout the city where people have those on lock, right? Yeah. And then there's DJs that throw dope parties and stuff too that are more dancing and club and that kind of vibe. And so with the Kickback, I wanted to bring those two worlds together, but I also wanted to feel like a party that you went to at your auntie's house or your grandma's house. You would go to your friend's auntie crib, and the plastic would be on the couch, but you vibing. The best music is playing, and people are just having that energy. And I wanted to bring that into a venue where, if you don't want to dance, but you want to be in the environment, you can come to the environment. Right. If you want to turn up, you can do that. We sold our drinks. We got the venue to allow us to sell our drinks in solo cups to also replicate that vibe. And then to take it like one step further and really create the house energy. We had JM Joints come through, and she provided the set design, the stage design for the whole event. So it started out with the orange couch, and a whole like living room setup. Yeah. And we did that a couple times, and after that, we didn't want the event to become stale, so we started adding different elements. We did a Stranger Things theme. We did a couple other themes. We did like a summer pool party theme. Yeah. And just giving people a moment where they can come up. It was on stage, so it's not like I'm on stage. This is about me. No, come on stage. We have Photo Bruja taking pictures of everybody. Shout out Michelle. We had Viz by Lewis. Lewis Haley coming up there. He was recording recaps for the whole video or for the whole event, so people would come and get that energy, and it was just like a really good time. And that also got to the point where I could start bringing on guest DJs so they can showcase their ability and get in front of a new crowd as well. So the vibe of that was to bring that energy, but also on the business side of things, give a platform and a place where people can come and pick up the merch as well. Right. So you can get a pre-order, and if you pre-order, you get a free ticket to the event. You come to the event, you grab your pack, right? What I've started to realize is a lot of people will come and grab their pre-order and they will put it on immediately. Yeah. So then you have people in the building with the merch that you're selling on, right, which will be free advertising for other people coming to the event to try to grab the merch as well. Yeah.
So you've literally just broken down game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I wonder if it gets lost on people is that. So we've run through the gamut, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've touched on all of the things that you've done. Maybe not all of the things, but a lot of the things that you've done that I've been aware of, and how those things have not only built into what they are, but have been a foundation for the next thing.
For sure.
And I think that there's something that people can take from that and say, okay, well, how can I use this for my own move?
For sure.
But the thing that I really want to make sure that we identify and celebrate is, bro, you just gave away a bunch of free game.
Yeah, facts. Thank you.
and that's not something that we always see, right? People want to take this, and I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Because we just a moment ago we talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Where people feel, a sense of insecurity about these things. But you're sharing this, and I hope that we all can recognize that there is room for all of us to win.
For sure.
Like at the end of the day, man, if we root for one another to win, then the whole situation is the better for it.
Exactly.
Things that you just released Mindset today. Energy is out. You just released it. It hasn't even been out a year yet, so that's out for people to vibe with.
Yeah, for sure.
Things are opening up again. You've already talked about you said it when you bring the kickback back, so we know that's coming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you are very engaging when you are on social media. What should people really, aside from go buy the album?
Facts. Go get that on Bandcamp. Pay what you want.
Exactly.
It's on all the streaming platforms, but go to Bandcamp or rarevibe.com. You know what I'm talking about?
There it is. What should people look out for, man? What should people be tapping into? And wait a minute. And actually, you just said that, and I realized we didn't show enough love. I mean, I mentioned the merch. You mentioned the merch a little bit. Merch is still available.
Oh, facts.
Like you've designed tons of merch that people can get their hands on. Tees, sweats, all kinds of hats.
Caso De Niro, my guy Alex designed tons of merch.
Man,
that people can get their hands on.
That's
for sure.
Homie, yeah.
He's a legend. He's a legend.
I mean, the Klyph Notes podcast logos, the Welcome to the Neighborhood logos.
Yeah.
That's the man right there.
Facts.
That's the man. Anyway, what should people like tap into, as they hear this and want to either want to just support the movement,
Yeah.
two, want to be a part of the movement because of the things that you're doing and the opportunities that you're providing for entertainment, or just I don't know where you are in terms of continuing to share sort of these business ideas. Like, what should people tap into?
Definitely tap into Instagram at the Drae Slapz, TheDraeSlapz. I'm posting everything there. I'm keeping things going on that platform. So as we do things like bringing events back, as we do things like releasing new material, that's like the number one source for me getting that stuff out there or to you all. Outside of that, rarevibe.com if you want to check out the merch and also check out some of the discography. You can also get to my Bandcamp specifically off of rarevibe.com. So if you go to rarevibe.com and click on the music tab, it'll take you to the Bandcamp so you can see all the music as well. But I think that's the main thing to tap into. Tapping into my Instagram, it kind of gives you a feel for who I am as a person, because I feel like, yes, I want you to listen to the music. Yes, I want you to see the visuals. Yes, if you enjoy the merchandise, I want you to try that on and, check out the vibe. But for me, it's more so about resonating with people and people enjoying who I am as a person and being able to bring something to their life. And I feel like with that, that's when all the other things are nice accents, but not the main piece.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's what's up, B. Well, listen, man, I really appreciate it because, like I said, I know that I knew bits of the story, but it's really nice to be able to sort of get the whole story and put all the pieces together, because I've always appreciated our relationship.
Yeah.
And so it's good to be able to build more and understand who you are, the man behind the music. You know what I mean?
For sure, I appreciate that. We touched on, I think, 90% of the things. The one thing that I feel like we should end on before we get out of here is the digital marketing.
Okay, yeah. Let's get into that. Let's get into that.
Digital real quick.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's been an area of contention for a lot of people. So I don't think a lot of people understand it coming from our community and where we come from and just like trying to make things happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we should just touch on real quick.
No doubt. And like you said, that's a part of what you do. And so it's it's literally an area of expertise for you.
No, 100%.
So if there's an individual out there who is an artist, who is a creator, what should they know that they don't know? What have they been told that may not actually be true? You feel me?
Yeah.
And what move should they make today?
All right, cool.
And actually, what is it? For a lot of cats, what is it?
So literally, digital marketing is a widespread thing, right? But it literally is just that. When you think of marketing is the ability to sell a product, right? Digital marketing is selling a product through a digital space, or getting further reach or notoriety or visibility on a product through digital means. So that can be anything from social media marketing, which we know a lot of, to Google AdWords or as far as like search engine optimization, search engine marketing, and a couple other pieces. That's the three main pieces that people kind of gravitate to or know about. I feel like the misconception is what a lot of artists do as far as digital marketing is they'll go out and they'll go to SpotifyPlays.com and buy 50,000 streams on something, or go to, YouTubePlays.com, YouTube likes and comments, and buy a bundle that gets you however many plays, how many likes, and however many comments. Because people started to realize at first it was just selling the views or plays, but then they would be like, yo, there's no engagement, so people can tell this isn't real, right?
Right.
So people would go out and also buy likes and comments, so it looks like they're lit with engagement too. The issue with that stuff is first off, those aren't real people or real eyes seeing it. Right. So you're not getting anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And then the moment you actually drop something, because as we go, day by day, we're getting better. Hopefully, if you continue to work at your craft, you're getting better. So when you do drop something that's actually better than a thing that you put 5 million plays on or 5 million views on, and you get 1,000 views, because you didn't have the budget to do whatever you was doing, people gonna look at that like that's trash.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
So I feel like that's one of the misconceptions, the first misconception. The second big misconception is they feel like every major artist is lit. So when Drake gets 50 million views on something, they think that's just straight people going to look at Drake's stuff. What they got to realize is every artist signed to a major label has some type of marketing budget. With that marketing budget, that either goes into getting them radio play, getting them on playlist, or doing different digital marketing schemes, whether it's through Instagram, through Facebook, through Twitter, through TikTok, etc., to increase the reach and visibility by real people on their product, which is their music, right?
Right.
So what I do is through my specialty, like I said, I have 5 certificates in digital marketing strategies, and I also work with a digital marketing and social media marketer that has gotten 5 artist deals through the pandemic, and he's gotten countless artist deals beyond that and before that.
Okay.
And I essentially know how to increase my reach and my visibility on social media and the reach and visibility on my visuals through real engagement and really getting it in front of real people. So when people see my numbers, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, post that have got however many thousand or million plays or whatever, or same thing with my my YouTube videos that have hundreds of thousands of plays or views, people see that and they think I'm buying fake views or I'm buying fake whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, as an artist, your number one goal beyond making great music from a marketing standpoint should be getting in front of new people every day.
Yeah.
I don't care if, whatever your budget is. And it's not about if you have $100, don't do $100 over a day or $100 over a week. Do $5 a day, $3 a day, just something to continue your role going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to do it. It's about the longevity. And so people will see my stuff and be like, yo, you're buying fake whatever. It's like, no, I'm getting in front of real people around the world or even in my market. Sometimes I'll segment if I have like the kickback or an event going on. I'll target just Portland, Vancouver, Clackamas, Salem, people that I know that can drive to the event and get there and have visibility on it, right? When I'm doing my music, sometimes I'm hyper targeting and doing regional targeting. Sometimes I'm doing national targeting, just U.S. Sometimes it might be U.S. and Canada. And then sometimes it also might be outside markets like Europe or where I shot a visual at, letting them know that the video came out and that, hopefully this is something that they enjoy, because I'm not trying to come in and take from their culture. I'm trying to share their culture with my base and with my friends and my family. So, yeah, I think to, answer your question, number one misconception is that all digital marketing is about fake views or plays. Like, this is real money that's being used to get in front of real people. Number two, what artists should be doing is, whether you're putting money down or you're doing it through guerrilla marketing or through word of mouth or whatever, your goal should be to get in front of new people every day, period. And I feel like once you figure out your mix or your vibe in doing that, because no two artists can have the same route, that's when you'll start to truly find success in what you're trying to do. Maximize that, get to that 1,000 fans so that you can have that power of temps, make that 4 bands a month, and just continue upward from there.
That's what's up, B. And it's funny because so much of that I didn't even realize was a situation when you talk about people spending money to that extent.
Yeah.
But I love one of the things that you said is get new fans.
100%.
Because I think it's really easy whenever you're a creative to have that positive feedback, that positive input.
For sure.
And the people that are going to give you that are people who are already in your circle.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And it takes guts. It takes guts to go out there and almost seek failure.
Yeah.
There's an absolute benefit to failing.
Exactly.
But you have to have thick enough skin and belief in yourself and what you're doing to accept that failure. And like you're saying, that you gotta get in front of new people in order to make that a reality.
For sure. And one thing, it's tough these days because when you're targeting, when you're doing digital marketing, you have targets, right? So, if people say you sound like Migos, you're going to target Migos fans. Or if you're a certain kind of rapper, you might target Jay-Z or Kanye fans. Or, if you really appeal, like your messaging is about women, you might target Drake fans. If you're talking about grinding and it's all money in or whatever, now on some platforms, Nipsey Hussle is to the degree where you can target his fan base. But just because you feel like, or your friends or a couple people have said you sounded like these people, not everybody that are fringe consumers or diehard fans of theirs are going to automatically gravitate to you or like you. So they might see your thing pop up on their feed. They might watch 5, 10, 20, whatever seconds of it, and then they keep going. That's still a real person that knows your name or has saw your face or have heard your voice, right? Just because they didn't like it or comment on it doesn't take away from the fact that you reached a new person just now. So you might see somebody's YouTube video and it might have 100,000 plays, but the likes and the comments aren't matching up. And because of our community and what we know of people being able to buy fake streams or views, we automatically say that's fake. You ain't popping, you buying fake stuff.
Right.
And it's like, no. I'm marketing and get in front of real people. We just do it different. So
that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I'm telling you, man. Slapz in here like breaking it down for us, man. Bruh, I think that I'm hoping that someone hears this and it changes the trajectory of what they've been doing. They say, okay, there is another way to go about this to reach my goals, to reach my dreams, to reach my aspirations. And I think, bro. I think you sharing the story of having a passion to do this thing as a career and understanding that, you have to work your 9 to 5 to get. I mean, it's a blessing to have a 9 to 5 to fund what you want to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Until the thing that you want really is self-sustainable.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't know that those things are always as celebrated as they should be.
Oh yeah.
But the idea that you have had the stick-to-itiveness to just to stick it out, man, and just like you said on the album Energy, I mean, there are songs in there that speak to that as you're speaking to yourself, but then also speaking to other people, essentially saying don't give up, don't give in, persevere, and it can you can achieve your dreams as well, man. So that's huge, bro.
100%. I say, wow, Slapz, you're doing great a lot.
Yeah.
And that's part of and saying like I'm the highest overall. Like you might be better at one thing than me, but because of my portfolio and the things that I can do, you'll never reach the level that I have. And people see that as being cocky or being, whatever, adjective or adverb, whatever the word is that you want to put on it. It's not about that at all. It's about reinstilling confidence in myself and giving myself, that extra oomph to get up and attack this the next day, to continue pushing on and fighting on. Like it's literally a mantra to myself to keep me going. And so when I change out Slapz and I be like, wow, Klyph, you're doing great, I literally mean like, yo, I see what you're doing. I see you. And I want you to know that as another person in this world that I see you, because I know we don't always get that, and I hope that it does for you what it does for me, and a couple people being like, yo, that sounds like Larry June. That's the you're doing good stuff. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. It definitely came from Larry. Like it started with Larry June. We were at Fogo de Chao with Brookfield Deuce and Chef Kenny when Deuce first got signed. And I talked about this in one of my songs, actually, which is funny to me when people try to bring it up like they're trying to throw, like they're exposing me or whatever.
Right.
But I was like, no, I'm not going to say the lyrics. It's in a song called Targaryen. If you want to see it, I talk about this situation. Yeah. But long story short, Deuce had just got signed. We were celebrating at Fogo. And Deuce was like, I'm doing good. And I was like, nah, bro, you're not doing good. You're doing great. And it started out as just like an internal joke. Yeah. And then we just kept saying it and everybody kept saying it. And I was like, yo, like, no, I really love this. Like, I understand what he's doing with the you're doing good and like all of the things that mean and the funniness of it because, from an English standpoint, it should be you're doing great, now you're doing good and all of that. So it's just, it has different funny elements to it. But no, I was like, I really want to tell people and tell myself that you're doing great. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, definitely like spurred from that, but it spun into something that took a life of its own. And I really appreciate, what it does for me and what I feel like, and I hope it can do for other people.
That's huge, bro. Yeah. That's so huge, bro, because it's difficult. It's difficult oftentimes to show love to one another. It's difficult to be encouraging to one another, and it shouldn't be. I mean, it doesn't take anything away from you when you tell someone else congratulations, when you tell someone else good job, when you tell someone else I want you to win. And for you to have created this into this thing that we get to hear on songs, that we get to hear, you know, when you're at live events. I think that's a beautiful thing, man. So big ups to you for,
thank you. I appreciate
again, just for having that energy, for and for being real, bro. Like I say, like what people see when you walk in the building, like that's who you are all the time. You know, that positive energy, that positive engagement, and I think that should be celebrated. I really do.
Thank you. I think that's one of the best compliments I ever got on my music. One of my coworkers, or from a past agency that I worked at, they knew that they found out that I did music, and so people were sharing it around the office, I guess, and stuff like that, and telling people about the music and stuff. And this dude came up to me and was like, "Yo, Drae, I just want to let you know, I really appreciate the fact that you sound the same on your songs that you do in real life. Like the things that you're talking, whether it's your lingo or how you're using your voice, all of these things, like it literally sounds like you. I can tell. I feel like I'm having a conversation with you." Yeah. And I was like, "That's dope, bro. I appreciate that."
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. That's what's up. Bro, like, again, man, I appreciate you taking the time. It means a lot for you to come through and then just be so open with your story. You know what I mean? I think that shows. To be honest with you, I think it shows a great level of confidence in who you are and what you've done and what you believe in the journey that you're on to be able to be willing to share all that you that you have. Man, just thank you for that. Thank you for what you've done for the local community, creating events, creating opportunities, putting people on records. All of the things that you've done, I think have gone a long way as we continue to maintain and try to grow this scene, man. So big ups to you, bro.
Yo, thank you. I appreciate that, and I just gotta say a huge thank you and shout out to my wife too. Like girlfriend at the time, turned fiance, turned wife. I don't know if any of the things that I've done, I don't know where my life would have been without her. Like I definitely had, raw talent, skill set, wit, etc. But she opened my eyes to so many things, and she pushes me daily to just go beyond, my comfort zone and never settle, to continue on and to keep going, to keep pushing that. A lot of the things that I do or that I've done, I don't know where I would be without that energy, that she gives me. So yeah, I'm just super appreciative. And beyond her as well, the friend base and family base the community that we've built around us. Yeah. It's definitely about the people that you keep around you. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
That's been a huge push in me being able to become the Drae Slapz that I am today. So yeah, shout out to her. Truly appreciate her. Shout out to people like you, what I'm saying, to people like OG1, again, to people like Cool Nuts, the people that are in the game, that have done things, that have seen things, and like you're saying, being willing to really give real game, really being able, and not just real game, but to really give a truthful and honest opinion, and not care about, this might hurt you, bro, but this is the fact. Like, this is what it is, or this is how I feel. Take it however you want to take it, but this is my opinion on this. And I think it takes, a certain level of courage, a certain level of wit, and a certain level of comfortability within yourself to be able to extend that to somebody else, because it's for the betterment of them at the end of the day.
100%, bro. And I don't even know how to say it, bro, but yeah, giving props to wifey is huge. Man. I mean, we can't be who we are without that in-home support.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I can definitely speak to that. Shout out to my wife. So big ups to you for that, bro. Man, Drae Slapz, motivational speaker. Yo, check out the album Energy. It's on Bandcamp right now. Cop that. Be on the lookout for the return of the kickback. Cop yourself some merch. Just stay plugged in to everything that he does. I appreciate you, Doc.
Appreciate you too, dog. Like you said, Energy out now, and go get that. Been Around music video, shot in Morocco. Go check that out. Patient video, shot in Turks and Caicos. Check that out. Trauma video, you wouldn't know it, but shot in my videographer's driveway. Check that out. And I'm dropping singles for the rest of the year every week. Yeah.
Here we go.
Facts. We loaded up.
Got to give some shout outs, got to give some thank yous, man. Big ups to Akepele Apparel for their continued support of the Klyph Notes podcast. They just dropped the winter line that we had to pop up a little while ago. So dope. I'm rocking the Akepele joint right now. I got the flannel joint on. But so check out the website, man. They, like I said, they just dropped the winter line. They got some dope designs, and just such good people, such good individuals, man. AKEPELE.com, Akepele Apparel. Big ups to the Numberz. It's
Facts.
so dope to be partnering with the Numberz at this level. You're going to be able to hear more great content from DJ Klyph Productions and specifically the Klyph Notes podcast. We may have some other things cooking. If you haven't checked them out yet, be sure to check out the Numberz. It's the Numberz with a Z all over social media, the Numberz.fm. If you're in the Portland metro area, 96.7 on your FM dial.
Wow.
Great programming.
Yeah.
Some great talk shows. There's this great show that you can catch every weekday, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. called The Rhythm.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's my show. Anyway.
We was going with it. I had you.
Yeah, but for sure, man, thank you so much to the Numberz for supporting the movement. And last but never, ever least, big ups to the homie, Theory Hazit, for creating the official theme song for the Klyph Notes podcast. Remember, the podcast is available at, come on, bro. Everywhere that you listen to audio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Audible, literally everywhere. You can check us out at klyphnotes.com. If you have questions or comments, you can hit us up on the email at klyphnotes@gmail.com. All right, y'all. Once again, thank you to Drae Slapz. God bless you all. I love you until we have an opportunity to do this again. Y'all be blessed. Peace.